Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to talk about something that, might be a little bit controversial, but at the same time, lots of people might be excited about. And that is the tank that everybody gets for free just by logging in daily. So if you check over here, daily login, on the third day of playing, everybody gets Horrus as a tank for free. And most of the time in games like these, gacha type games, people might frown upon this, thinking that, if somebody's a free hero, they might not be as good, they might be unreliable. And, well, I want to make a video to spotlight Horrus specifically because, I'm not going to say that he's the best tank in the game, okay? Like, that's far from that. There's a few better ones like Horrus, like Garius, like some legendary ones. However, for a free epic, he's actually pretty amazing because, he's going to carry you in the game from the beginning and he's even and game viable. The reason for that is he has a pretty good ultimate that has a 100% chance to taunt, puts some damage reduction, hit recovery on himself. He brings an attack penalty 2 on the battle skill. This one's not 100% unfortunately. I wish they would buff this so you can just scroll it up to 100%, but even like this, if you pair it with the right artifact, you can even use him as a reliable attack penalty hero. And then on the passive, this one's amazing. When he takes damage, he places a shield equal to 10% of his max HP for 5 seconds, and this one can trigger every 7 seconds, but he also brings an ally HP in all battles by 24%. So he's going to be amazing everywhere, and you're going to be able to use him wherever you want. As an example, I just put a team around him to do Grave of Venom Stage 9, and honestly, and this might sound a little bit, again, unpopular opinion or controversial, but he's arguably one of the best, if not the best, tank for the Grave of Venom, and that's specifically because of the sheer tankiness that he brings, okay? So he can be so tanky because of his ultimate, because of his passive, because of, the aura as well, bringing more HP, that he can just take all of those crazy hits from the Harpy without having attack penalty on all the time. So, for example, the team that I'm using normally, I'm using a Horrus team, and with that team, I try to have decreased attack, attack penalty on the boss almost all the time, unless I'm doing a team that I just destroy it pretty fast, and then I'm good. But the thing is, he brings, look at this, he's so tanky, he can soak up all of those hits. Watch this. So, okay, now it's attack penalty. I was gonna be like, watch this, but still, he's healing up enough to be able to keep taking those hits. And what I brought alongside him in this team is another free hero that everybody gets in Hexandra. I brought an Erich that, again, everybody gets Erich by the time they finish the first part of the story by beating the Violet Dragon, and Erich is just in there for DPS. Then I bought a Sigrid, which honestly, Sigrid can be anybody else that brings attack penalty and some damage, and that's about it. Having a little bit of attack penalty allows him to be healed back up in time by Hexandra and the other healer, which in my case is Quarian over here. Quarian is pretty good because he brings healing on him, he brings defense up, he brings basically the good stuff that you need. But anyway, we're not talking about Quarian, we're talking about Horrus, and look at how well he actually tanks it. It's not even level 100, and at the same time, I'm not sure if you noticed at the beginning, but I'm gonna mention this now, he does not even have scrolls, okay? So he's not even scrolled up, and he can still do his job just fine. Like, honestly, I don't really think it's like mandatory to scroll him up. He can do his job good enough just without that one, and honestly, that's why I didn't really do it. That's why I did not scroll him up, because his kit does not necessarily need it. Just some lower cooldowns on some of the on his battle skill and ultimate, and then maybe it would be like, might be useful for his passive that has a high chance to keep rocking that shield on himself. But even without the scrolls, as you can see, he can survive pretty well with, a pretty relatable team for this one. And honestly, he can do the same thing with other dungeons. So after this one finishes, I'm going to jump over for Ancient Battlefield, which is another one of those endgame dungeons that are pretty difficult to beat. And I'm going to show a team where, again, he's going to be tanking in there, but there might be something a little bit different that you're going to want to use on him for a different build. But I guess first of all, I'm going to show you the build that I have in him over here. And basically for the Grave of Venom, if you're going to use him, I did not build him with accuracy, as I'm not really relying on him having the using that attack penalty for this team. But I tried to build him with survivability in the sense of HP defense, and I did give him resist, so we can resist the defense penalty from the side ad over here. However, if you cannot do that, just bring somebody like a Anna alongside him instead of Corian, or somebody like a Megan, and just time it so that she will always cleanse that defense penalty. But that might be a little bit more difficult to do. However, just building it with resist might be a little bit easier. So the build that I have on him, for example, for this fight is... as you can see, I have like 282 resist and then lots of HP and defense because that's all you care about for him. I do have the rare artifact that gives him defense, HP percent, and also more defense percent when there are allies around him. And basically, he starts the fight close to an ally, he moves forward, but he still gets that benefit of that defense. Then I have HP percent over here, HP percent over here. Again, trying to get defense, HP, resistance. Again, these are not great stats. Again, HP percent resistance, so basically I tried to give him close to that 300 resistance. If you cannot do it with an HP percent chest, then just go with a resistance chest, and that should make it so much easier to do that. And also have a resistance room, for example, from here, and that gives him obviously the resist that we need. If you wanted to use him, for example, for his attack penalty as well, the best artifact for him would be the Ivaran's Arrow. I mentioned this in a lot of previous videos, but I'm obviously going to mention on this video as well because, it's a spotlight video for him. So if you would use him for his attack penalty on the battle skill, give him this one because it's going to increase his chance to land a debuff. So if this one's maxed out, it will give you 15% chance. It's going to give you a total of 56 more accuracy. And on top of his 75% chance to land, that's going to be like 90% chance. So that would be pretty good, considering it's on the battle skill. If you scroll them up, it's going to be even better. But yeah, I guess this is what I wanted to show you for now. But again, if we would go, for example, at the... I guess I'm just going to throw him in my team instead of my usual tag for Ancient Battlefield and show exactly what I mean. But for example, if we go and fight the Ancient Battlefield, let's say we go to stage 7, because 8, 9 are pretty hard and you want some crazy people in there. Let's say just throw him in there. And honestly, the way that you would use him in here is you would just turn off his ultimate. Okay, because the ultimate does not benefit us that much. Oh yeah, and I also need to change him a little bit because I want to give him some accuracy for this fight, So he will bring that attack penalty as well. So let me just throw in the artifact that I'm talking about. And then in this one, do I have an accuracy one? I do. Accuracy, okay. Right, go back in. Okay, the 190, that should be enough. Let me see, do I have enough resist on Hexandra? Because in this fight, you want the person that's at the back, the furthest, or like something like this. You want them to have the highest resist. So let me throw the HP aura and let's go. So like I said, in this fight, you want to turn off his ultimate because that puts a lot of buffs. And those are a problem in this fight because the more buffs you have, the more the boss's damage will scale. I'm just stopping Voresh from doing his, his ultimate yet. I want to time it to be like now. So before the boss does this part, you want to have buff prohibition. So if you do not have Voresh, just bring anybody else that has buff prohibition or bring somebody that removes buffs. So after the boss does the attack up, you're just going to remove it. There's Grover that does that. There's Irina that does that. There's, what's her name, Jorana, which I showed in the past. But you can see he can take the hits pretty well. He also brings us, like I mentioned, the attack penalty on his battle skill. Let's see, throw, boom. Did I get resist or did he not do it? Okay, boom. Attack penalty, Sigrid also comes. So the way you could do it, for example, is if you had this team for Ancient Battlefield with him in there, you would just time so that Sigrid or whoever else is your attack penalty hero on the ultimate always does the attack penalty before the boss does this big smack. Because this is the one that hurts. Everything else, you can pretty much tank it. But as you can see, he does a pretty good job. He can take the hits in front there. And funny enough, he even does, a tiny bit of damage because all his damage is defense-based. So, again, definitely Horrus, somebody that's really good for the end game. And even if we're talking about the continental challenges, for example, where you have to fight Oster, the problem with that fight with Oster is that on his 2 battle skills, he ignores defense. Well, what's his name? I forgot his name. He's the main guy. Horrus. Horrus can scale better just by giving him lots of HP because, well, he will have a higher shield that he places from the passive. So for that fight, you wouldn't care about his defense. You just stack him up with as much HP as you can and some accuracy to you know, try and take advantage of his battle skill decrease attack, and he's gonna do just fine. He's definitely one of the ones that it's worth investing into, you know. Lots of people might not be big fans of him. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of him because I do have, you know, Frurbath and other ones, but he did surprise me in certain situations where he performed better than Frurbath when it comes to straight tankiness, okay? Frurbath does bring heal, but I feel like, I don't know, Horrus is just much tankier. Horrus is just much tankier than anybody else, and he's a pretty good one. Definitely worth investing into him. But anyway, I guess this is going to be it for the video today, guys. If you want me to do some more hero spotlights, I don't know, on certain rares or some other epics, or maybe, you know what, the next one might be Erich because everybody gets him, just leave it in the comments below. And if I see, you know, several people asking about the same hero, I'm going to make a hero spotlight on them. And I'm going to try and tell you about the best gear sets, the best artifacts, and runes to give them on him. Oh yeah, last thing that I did not mention, I guess, is what gear sets would you put on him. So I did mention for artifacts the arrow, then apart from that would be normally stuff that makes him tanky, okay? So whatever makes him tanky. You could even use the crown, for example, if you have it, because if you're going to use him with accuracy, you're going to try and take advantage of the defense penalty. But when it comes to gear sets, well, I guess the best one would be, if we're talking about the Grave of Venom, to try and have Wrath of the Trolls to just give him some more skill haste so he comes back to his skills more often. But if you do not want to build any of these attack ones, then you can go to, like, you know, the Grave of Rot or the Grave of Curse. However, why this one would be pretty beneficial is because if you make a 3-piece set, he can also heal himself every time he does a basic attack. And the skill interval, the attack interval, like you can see, is 2 seconds. So having a 3-piece set, you know, he's not going to have a ton of attack, but a little bit of healing will help sustain himself. Then when we're talking about the other ones, for example, Ancestral Protection could be a good one because it gives him HP, gives him defense, but he will also soak up some of the damage that everybody else will soak. So, for example, your damage dealers might be squishier, he's going to take part of that damage, and because he's so tanky, he's going to be able to sustain that damage and just be healed up by the tanks. And then, honestly, this one I'm not really sure I would use because he does not benefit from Enlightenment. And in some places, like I said, you might not use his ultimate, so the Radiance of the Blue Oak might not be the best. Another one that would be amazing on him would be the Brotherhood Spirit, okay? Because if you complete a 3-piece set, it's gonna give you the 20 skill haste, it's gonna give you the accuracy that you need for his taunt on the ultimate and the attack penalty on the battle skill, but also he will boost everybody's attack every time he does his ultimate. So a 3-piece set of this one would be amazing. And maybe even this one could be good because, you know what, let's say we ignore the stun part of it, but if you just use a 2-piece, it's going to give you the resist, it's going to give you the accuracy, and you might even be able to build him for the Grave of Venom, like I showed you, to have enough resist, but maybe also enough accuracy to land his debuffs while being tanky. But anyway, this is going to be it for the video today, guys. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm going to see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.